This is good. This is good. We're doing something really fun. We're doing something really fun, and everybody needs to know about it. So it's always better. It's always better if somebody explains how it works, so people don't need to try to regurgitate, the information that they might not know, right? So it's easier coming from me. They can just share this, and this is how it works. This is what we're doing, and this is how we're going to change the world. My name is Rob Tolles. I'm the CEO of Smash Fund. Smash Fund, in my opinion, is the first crowdfunding company operating as a social network. First of all, I love the crowdfunding space. This is the most exciting space I've ever seen, because one thing we know for sure, out of the billions of people on this planet, every single person has a project that they'd like to fund. But then I read an article about the failure rate. How many projects never get funded? But I thought, what if we started a crowdfunding platform that came alongside that creator and helped them fund their project based on our revenues? That said, hey, if you build a massive user base for us, we'll come alongside you and help you fund your project. Thanks so much for adding so many users, followers, friends. And here is a check. We've worked very fast, very quickly. Starting a Smash Fund account takes literally 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just your passion. It's simple. It's just talking about whatever your passions are, and you got to start somewhere. So after you have your account, just get moving. But the first thing you want to do is tell the world that you're now part of Smash Fund. And so within the first day of having a Smash Fund account, you should have at least 5 others that have done the same thing. Other crowds could start to overlap with your crowd as well, right? This is a social network, so expect to find people that you don't even know start connecting to your crowd. If that simple process were to duplicate, just over a 6-day period, you would have thousands and thousands of people connected to your crowd, posting what they're passionate about. You don't know most of those people. You have no idea where they came from. But you started that initial group, that group of connectivity that is starting to grow. Those thousands of connections you created, that's our marketing. Not to mention all those creators within your crowd and different crowds overlapping that are doing the same thing. So do this. Take 5 minutes, get your own Smash Fund profile, invite 5 or more friends to do the same, and bring your projects to life today.
Let's get started. So as an introduction to what we'll be covering tonight, crowdfunding, of course, you know what it is, but I'll go over that again in a second. Combining it with social networking and what that means. And then I'm going to offer some common sense about this new crowdfunding platform called Smash Fund, and a little side dish of straight talk. All right. And we're going to have our questions answered. In fact, a couple that I've already prepared from one of the original members of Smash Fund. She got in at the very beginning, Giglia. So we are going to be talking to her in about 15 minutes. Now, does anybody here not know what crowdfunding is? Just raise your hand. You could say, I do not know, in the chat box. Okay, Tom, Renee, Leanne, Nadia. Okay, let me explain what crowdfunding is. It's pretty exciting. It sounds almost too good to be true, but you'll see in a moment how it's being used even by my own relatives. Crowdfunding is a legitimate way, an increasingly popular way, that you can fund your boldest dream, your idea, your product, your charity, anything you come up with. If you need money for, there are now platforms that allow you to do so. Now, I actually did this back in 2005. I did it through, it was without the official crowdfunding. I did it through PayPal by putting a little donate button when I lost my job, my TV job. I did an actual weather forecast online. That's what got me started in internet marketing. And most people don't know that I originally had that funded by the public. So people would donate as much as $1,000 to keep me online doing weather. And what that ended up was helping me fund getting into internet marketing, etc. So that's an example. But let me share a few other exciting crowdfund projects with you to give you an example of what it can be. All right. So, for instance, the Scanadu Scout was inspired by Star Trek's tricorder. So it seemed too good to be true. You could just hold something up to somebody and it could actually read off their health. But that actually was something that somebody had the idea to produce. And the goal was to raise $100,000. And it was such a good idea that it raised over $1.5 million. That's an example. Another example is the funding of over $1 million in only 9 days. That was to save Nikola Tesla's lab out on Long Island, east of New York City. Now, the museum, the Wardenclyffe Science Center, is being completed. His lab is being completed, so it becomes a museum. So in this case, crowdfunding was used to fund a new museum. Here's the other end of the spectrum. Christopher Young, he was the head of Provide, or is the head of Provide, which aids people in Haiti. He raised over $2,000 for a dry composting toilet for people in Haiti, reaching his goal with very little effort in this case. And then here's my cousin, Heather LaRose. She has crowdfunding right now where she's asking for folks to fund her budding musical career. Okay? So she's up to $4,200, but I'll give you a hint. If you look at the bottom right here, if you had any doubt that this was really my cousin, you could see that there is my first cousin, Howard Gross, and his wife donated $1,000. So she really made $3,200 from the public, and then her parents chipped in $1,000 too. She's trying to reach a goal of $10,000. So there's an example of how it could help something else that you may be wanting to do. I mean, in this case, it's a musical career. The problem with crowdfunding, and we'll hear more from Angela about this in a moment, is that most sites that you do it through do have restrictions on your projects. They give you deadlines, they give you fees if you don't reach your goals. They give you 5% charge on top of credit card fees, which means you're ending up paying 8%. And that is going to, of course, be a negative. Now, there's more negatives than that. And, of course, there's positives in that you're getting money. But what if we can improve on that? And that's what Smash Fund is all about. So, first of all, the idea here is, do you have a product or service but don't know how to fund it? Or can you think of one? Do you have a charity, an organization that you want to assist? Do you want to tour the world and write a book about your experiences? And as far-fetched as that sounds, I will tell you right now that last night I saw one of my son's old friends' Facebook pages where she posted her photography where she went tornado chasing during the course of this past year. Just a month ago, in fact, not even. And she took photographs, because she's a photographer, of herself as the model in front of the tornado. And it was one of the best photographs I have ever seen in my entire life. That effort that she has going with her other photos, her natural photos around the world, could be crowdfunded as an example. So that's a good example if you want to tour the world, write a book, take photography, and fund it. So you could use crowdfunding the way people in our examples did, or you could use crowdfunding with the new viral twist with 2 streams of profit. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight with Smash Fund. All right, so that sounds pretty exciting right off the bat, I'm sure you'll admit. Everybody excited about that so far? Because, again, I'm going to mention all the negatives I could think of later, so we might as well get excited now, right? All right. So that's what crowdfunding is. It's done a lot lately. The problem immediately that stands out is only 89% of people reach their goals. Don't reach their goals. Only 11% reach their goals. Now, 11% is still pretty good. That means you have a 1 in 10 shot of reaching your monetary goal. I donated when somebody was in the hospital, as an example. Imagine that if you have unexpected medical bills that your insurance isn't covering, that you can ask for crowdfunding about that. All right, so the 2 ways that you'd be paid is the traditional way, where you put a donate button right up. In fact, did Heather have a donate button that we could see? Okay, right there. See that right there? There's a donate button. That's the traditional method that I'm referring to. All right, and now the other method is there's a way to do some profit sharing on this with Smash Fund. It's the first crowdfunding company operated as a social network That is similar to something like LinkedIn, where people are able to actually communicate with each other. Not only share their ideas about what they want funded as they get outside and inside sources to fund, but they'll be able to network with each other about this. They'll be able to help each other out. So Smash Fund is the first of its kind residual revenue sharing site because it's going to share up to 80% of its revenues monthly with its subscribers. And it's going to reward those that come in earlier because of the nature of the algorithm that this has been developed with. Now, when I say that, that means that those that first come in have a better chance of getting the lion's share of the revenue because they are the ones that help to build the network in the first place, so they're being rewarded for that. Now, Smash Fund's CEO is Rob Tolles. He's developed that proprietary network algorithm that I just spoke of. And that is what is going to allow you to get some money out of this if you invite people, all right? And even if you don't, there's a way, and I'll show you that in just a moment. It allows you to extend your network or crowd, so to speak, because it's based on the crowds that form around you. It's not really similar to network marketing at all if you looked at it on paper. It's sort of like bubbles in a balloon. Each bubble grows within the overall balloon, and they call it crowds. Your crowd grows, and then the next person's crowd grows, and the next person's crowd grows, and eventually they overlap, and that helps even more with those viral connections. It's a little hard to see and visualize, but the point is that there is something to share here to help fund your project in that other way, especially if you come in early. All right, so each new person, here we go. The algorithm helps you to extend your network, as I said, out to as many as 16,000 connections in an unbroken circle. I call that a bubble, but it's similar to a circle with 3 dimensionals. It's really a bubble. And you can't get any more than 16,000, and they are going to be paying out $4 for each one. And quite frankly, 16,000 is going to be pretty hard to do, and I'll explain that in just a moment as I give you some of my straight talk. Each new person, company, or nonprofit that you personally invite to Smash Fund is automatically connected directly to you within your network at $50 per month. But your connections will expand beyond your reach and may overlap with each other as an amazing new feature exclusive to the network. I mean, that's really cool that this is being done so that you're able to share in revenue beyond just the direct referrals. In fact, this happened earlier, even though later today, in just a few moments, for those of you that aren't already in, will have a chance to join this for free. At this point, you will be able to therefore see some of the connections that may form under you just by virtue of joining. For instance, I established a new position this past week, and immediately I had 3 viral connections, just because of the random nature of where I was placed. Not everybody gets connections when they first join. It's completely random. Some get a couple dozen, others get 0. But eventually, since those that are in early are more likely to be at the beginning of the whole growth of this viral network, you're likely to have some of these connections helping to fund your projects. The more people, though, that you personally invite, the more connections you'll make. It's just simple, that's common sense. It's logic. But the random viral connections at $4 per month each favor those who get in early, which is why I moved on this while it's free, while it's exciting, while I'm not even 100% sure between me and you that Smash Fund will be the roaring success that they say it will be. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is when I did this in the past, when I had a good feeling about something and there was an opportunity out there and I moved my crowd in early, some people did really well. Some of those are on this webinar tonight. And I am excited, therefore, to try to get you in early in order to also perhaps share in some of that revenue. But that's not what should be driving you to be here. It's the crowdfunding itself. That's the most important reason why you should be here. Out of 1,200 crowdfunding sites that are out there already around the world, Smash Fund is the only one that shares its revenue. It's expected to become the most popular crowdfunding program moving forward, but more importantly, it's expected to represent the cream of the crop. That 89% failure rate is likely not to be the case with Smash Fund. There's no guarantee here, but it looks like the way they're setting up, it's not going to be one of those that has the worser rates. It's going to be one of those with the higher success rates. And as the cream of the crop, more people will want to move into this. And if you're positioned now, as people move into it, it's really going to benefit you. Now, the paid networking is similar to the LinkedIn premium model, which I'll let Angela explain in a couple of moments. Because in LinkedIn, you actually right now have a situation where you get better connections in LinkedIn if you pay $120 per month. That's the kind of model that they've used here. The income share is similar to the Uber model. Now, Uber is a company, for instance, that shares its revenues with its drivers. Now, Rob Tolles, CEO of Smash Fund, he's been extremely successful over and over again, all right? He has been in the technology field for many years. He had over 4 million gamers in less than 2 years in his last company, which he sold for 115 million. And there was another successful endeavor that I believe in between. Rob felt challenged when he saw a Forbes magazine article that said whoever could figure out how to commingle social media tightly with crowdfunding would rocket to the moon and back. When he saw that, he wanted to be the one that would do it because he had the most experience in that neck of the woods. So he felt, hey, he'd do it. So he got a legal team and a second legal team and a third legal team for crowdfunding and FTC compliance, and he's covered all his bases. It looks really good at this point. And Smash Fund is a public benefit corp as well. It has a PBN seal, which makes its dealings more transparent than a normal C corp. A PBC is held in higher standards because it means that it benefits the public. Now, they did that to make sure that Smash Fund is legal in every state, and so far they've been able to do that for the US and Canada. It will eventually open around the world with Australia and India next, late this year. It's not even open in the United States and Canada yet. This is the stage where we could get in and kind of build the network first. All right? Now, how will you benefit from Smash Fund? And then I'll let you ask some questions in a couple of minutes. You must eventually have a product or a project. Okay, you need a charity. You need a reason to be in this. This isn't where you're going to go in, you're going to say, hey, I just want some money. I'm going to get in early, and money's going to come out of the sky. It's not like that. This is a very serious endeavor, right? So that's one of my pieces of straight talk that I want you to understand. This has to do with the crowdfunding aspect first. The idea that you're getting funded by the company, by the income that comes in from folks paying on the monthly, which I'll tell you about what that is in just a moment, that is a secondary benefit because the main thing that you're trying to do is have a more successful organization where you can put your project, your health needs first, your charity first. That's why you're here, not just to sit, lie back in your easy chair and expect money to come out of the sky. Yes, it's good that you came here tonight and you got in early on this so that you have a chance to get more funding than someone else who comes in later. That's absolutely true. But no, this is not something where you're going to see a ton of hype. If you look across the web, you're going to see people that say Smash Fund is terrible or it's a gimmick or it's a scam. They're just trying to get clicks to their website, okay? It's not that. You're going to see others that say Smash Fund is the best thing since sliced bread. You're going to make 16,000 connections and $64,000 a month. It doesn't work that way either. That's just the potential that someone can get. That's not what it's there for. The straight talk, the real reason it's here is because this is the better crowdfunding network. It's a better way to get money for your project. Okay? Now, wait, I got to read the dessert part or the next slide doesn't make sense. You must eventually have a project, product, or charity to fund. The crowdfund aspect is what drives Smash Fund, not the profit share. That's just the dessert, I called it. So I just rambled on and said the same thing as that slide said in a different way. And about that dessert, you will be paid monthly for helping to build the subscriber base. It's a cash fund, even if you haven't posted the project that you want funded yet. In fact, when it first opens, you don't even have to post it then. You just have to post it eventually, like by the end of the year. So you will eventually have to post your project that you want funded. All right, keep that in mind. You will be paid monthly to help build the subscriber base, meaning you will get $50 per month for every person that you directly refer to the company. But where did that come from? Well, that came from because folks are going to be asked, just like LinkedIn Premium asks $120 a month, you'll be asked to spend $150, $149 to be exact, per month. And that's where the $50 per month is going to come from your referral that you bring in. But here's the thing that's so unusual, is that for every connection in your crowd up to 16,000 in your bubble, you will receive $4 per month for every viral connection. Now, some of you that joined last week have dozens of viral connections already. If those people actually paid their $149 when this comes up in July, you will get your membership at a lower cost or for free. Some of you joined and got only a couple. Some of you joined and got zero. It's random at this point. It's an algorithm that puts you in a very different place in the line at the top, but that fills in faster when you get in early. And that's why I want you in there early. It's not a guarantee of income, though. This is a mathematical statement of what would happen if you have a full network. That is the $64,000 a month, all right? There I am moving my slides around. Okay, so $64,000 a month is the maximum you can make on one. You can have up to 5 projects, but I mean, straight talk here. Who's going to make $64,000 a month? I mean, it's possible, and it's nice that you're in early so that we can hope that that would happen. The chances of that, I would not sit back and just let things happen. I would invite people, or I would do this simply for the crowdfunding aspect, which will be better. So the viral connections are random. It's from an algorithm, as I've mentioned previously, but one thing's for sure, those that get in early have a higher chance of getting those $4 viral connections to help fund their projects. All right, now I'm just going to read over the questions very quickly. I'm going to continue, get you to the link. I'm going to ask Angela to come on and really answer some tough questions that will really clarify this whole thing. Let me just see what you've asked in the last couple of minutes. All right, how about England? England looks like next year. The background noise was probably Luann. Let's blame Luann. Recently, another crowdfunding, I think, I'm sorry, Luann, I couldn't resist. And I always spell her name wrong. Recently, another crowdfunding, I think it's called We Share Crowdfunding. They ended up having problems with payment processing. Okay, yeah, the payment processing should be a cinch because it's going to be, I forgot the name, Angela would know, but it's one that's used very, very often. Here's a great great question from Brian. Do you get a 1099 on your funded project? You might, and I think Angela, let me just jot that down for her too. Okay, so let me continue. If you would directly invite 3 people, I mentioned that would cover your costs, right, because it's $149. 3 people, it's $50 each. Or if you had 38 paying subscribers in your crowd, that would be $4 each. That would cover your costs. But again, that's one aspect of the funding. The other aspect of the funding is that ever so important donate. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to tell you how to sign up for free at this point. Remember, I want you in early so you get placed right. And as the network grows, you won't be asked for paying $149 per month until July, and by then you'll have a really clear idea if this is right for you. If you have a project that needs funding, if you think this is going to pay you anything, if you already have some viral connections, if you have other people that are interested that you speak with. I will be doing videos, by the way, and those videos you'll be able to use to invite other people. All right, keep that in mind. We're going to be doing pages and videos. Now, your viral connections will grow through those that you know and those that they know. The viral connections will be randomly connected to you. You'll be paid on them as funding towards, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's towards your product. And just think for a second, how much you'd earn for all the social connections that you have on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and others if those companies paid you. Now, if this takes off like they think it will, all right, then we have a shot at being early on so that we have a lot of viral connections. I'm repeating myself again that you'll have a chance to join in just a moment. When Smash Funds opens in July, you will have a place to post the projects that you want funded. You will not be able to actually post the project until then. You will have the built-in audience right off the bat because we're all in there together. But your second stream of income, and this is the important one that I've mentioned, comes from that donate button. You will also receive training to increase your success rate of your funded project. So that's important to know too. Now you may have up to 5 profiles. I mentioned that a moment ago, but each one has to represent a different project or passion. I personally am going to have 2, all right? Just 2. And that's all that I expect to have as of right now. But 1 or 2 should do just fine. By the end of 2016, Smash Fund will be adding an equity platform, and I really want to talk about how important that is. The other crowdfunding networks don't have the ability to offer shares in exchange for the donation. So let's say I invent something. My wife, as an example, has invented an unusual diaper. I don't even want to talk about what the invention is because everybody here will immediately run out and try to get this patent. It is so ingenious. So if I was to take this diaper, okay, and if I then wanted to get money for this project and I wanted to coax people to donate towards the project to get the patent, to set up the manufacturing and the distribution, I could offer shares to them of the company. Smash Fund is working on that. They expect that by the end of the year. That is a huge milestone and really sets this apart. It's akin to Shark Tank. If any of you have seen the show Shark Tank or the one up in Canada that's similar to Shark Tank, then you know what I'm talking about. You ask for money in exchange for a share. Smash Fund launched when? It was April 27th. No money will be collected until the launch. Whatever date you sign up will be your billing date, by the way. So if you sign up today, then the billing date will likely be something like August 8th. You will have sufficient time to decide, as I mentioned, if this works for you. You'll have plenty of time to see if I'm giving you the videos that you need to spread the word. If you find that you're getting some viral connections that you like or don't need them, that's fine too, but you'll have plenty of time to decide, but you really should, at this point, be safe and sign up tonight. It means you could join for free right now and position yourself by telling as many people as you can about Smash Fund. Now, it's time to claim your spot right now for those of you that haven't already with this free idea here. I mean, you're joining for free at this point. You will have to put your credit card in, but it can be canceled. All right, and you will not be charged at all at this point. Folks who invited other people here, if you invited to this webinar by someone other than me, you're going to want to ask those that invited you for their sign-up link and also their invitation code. All of us that are on here tonight will still be virally connected in this network. So even if you don't see any viral connections right away, you'll be aided by me just by the fact that I am going to not only promote this on this webinar, but then with a replay afterwards. It doesn't mean you'll directly necessarily get a viral connection from me. Some did last week, some didn't. But it means that my group is growing and filling in at the top, and you're close to that. You have a better chance as we move along of being within my circle of influence. That is how it works. If you were invited by me, not someone else, but by me, this is the actual link that you should go to. But in addition, there'll be an invite code that you may have to put in or not put in. It would show up in your browser in the title bar. That's the link again, and I will show you much more in just a moment of where to get more information, how to sign up for our Skype group. But right now, I'm going to bring on Angela because I promised I would, and she has the answer to some great questions that have been asked by you that I'm going to ask her. Angela, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Just speak up a tiny bit. We can hear you well, but just make sure that you continue to, project.
How's that, better?
Yeah. Can everybody hear Angela?
Okay.
Angela, say just a couple of things. Tell us, first of all, when you first signed up with Smash Fund.
Hi, guys. Well, thanks, first of all, Todd, for having me. I signed up to Smash Fund last year when it opened the platform in early September. And what attracted me to Smash Fund was when I heard it, the light bulb went off, because I've had this dream to actually build a co-op for families of domestic violence. And as you can imagine, that's going to be in the millions of dollars. And it was always daunting, like, how am I ever going to get that kind of money? When this opportunity came up, I thought, oh, wow, I could fund that with this. And so I put up my page, and as I was going to my networking events, I was talking to people about what I was doing, and then someone introduced me to a guy who is a real estate entrepreneur. He's now looking for locations where, like, old apartment buildings or hotels that I could turn into this sort of housing. And I contacted local government that are interested when it gets moving, and people have been when it was open to donating, I was getting donations. And on top of that, when I was sending out doing my social media on my donations, people were signing up because then they had a project. They went, wow, this is a great idea. I could do this. So it is crowdfunding. You do have to market your project. And I don't think that's going to be difficult for a lot of people on this call, because that's what they do. So for me, this was awesome. And now that they have added in some other aspects of it, it's even better. Plus, when they switched it to the $149 model a month, it's going to make me be able to get my money even faster. And if you think about it, the company only takes 20%. What's 20% of $149? That's like $30 of that. The rest is pushed into the crowd, because Rob's goal is really to fund everyone.
That's fantastic. Let me ask you this, though. Let's say somebody wants to do crowdfunding anyway, and they say, well, why should I pay $150 per month when I could do it with another company like Kickstarter? Can you describe the differences between Kickstarter or some of the other ones and this program?
I'm going to give you a little bit, because I did a little research, and I also have a client that did a successful campaign on Kickstarter. But Kickstarter, someone did some research on Kickstarter, and they looked at the average $500,000 campaign. And that $500,000 campaign needed to be funded in 38 days. That was the average length of a $500,000 campaign. So out of the 79 campaigns that were crowdfunding for $500,000, only 2 reached their funding goal. So out of the 2 so the other 77 got $0 for all the work that they did. Out of the 2 that did reach their goal, they paid between 3 and 5% on the back end fees, totaling between $50 and $25K. If they would have done that on Smash Fund and had 0 connections whatsoever, it would have cost them $300, and they still would have had to have done the same amount of work, because Smash Fund doesn't take any of those back end fees. So another client of mine, he raised $350,000 for a project on Kickstarter. And from that, he had to commit to selling 100 products. So he took his money, he got the patents, he did all the work for it, and he made those 100 products, but now he's out of money. And now he has to start all over again, because he didn't maintain his connections, he didn't maintain the connections with his backers, the people who donated. He's got to start from scratch. And so on Smash Fund, you don't take your project page down. So you just update your people saying, hey, this part has been funded, and now I'm going to raise money because I need money to market it. How many of you people out there have built a product and a lot of money went into R&D and there was no money left over for marketing? And so for me, I thought, wow, that's great, because that continuous revenue stream is going to be able to be there when you need it. I'm sure this diaper project of your wife's, you're going to want to keep it secret first, but she can crowdfund and get the money to pay for the patents. So then when she has the patents, you could actually put up pictures of what it looks like to do the actual crowdfunding. But she will have pre-funded it. So that, for me, is huge. Not to mention that we're also going to have these the VCs on board that are going to be doing the equity share. And the part that you left out, Todd, if you brought your wife in, well, you're going to get it anyway. But if you bring in somebody that the VCs then actually help out, you get shares in that company. You become a shareholder.
Right. You first mentioned that to me, that you get shares in the company by bringing in. It's sort of a referral thing. And that's actually kind of new. This whole idea of doing it with a twist of Shark Tank is kind of a couple of weeks old. And I'm excited to hear that this is a possibility, because I think that sets it way apart from the other ones in that you can do that.
It's huge and so exciting.
Now, there's people asking questions as we're going along, and I kind of anticipated some of the questions. So this question involves, for instance, the processing fee. So most of these charge at least 5%, but Smash Fund doesn't, but there's still a processing fee, and I think is it 2.9%? Is it Stripe? What is it again?
It's Stripe. It's 2.9 plus 30 cents. And honestly, even Kickstarter, on top of their 5 to 7%, charges the 2.9 plus 30 cents.
Okay, 2.9% plus 30 cents is the fee of what you'd have to pay on money that you get by using this platform, besides the $149.
Well, it's a credit card fee.
It's the credit card fee, right. Okay, now, some folks here are looking at this kind of like network marketing. They're saying, all right, so it starts with $149. You invite 3, the next person invites 3, the next person invites 3. And then they're saying eventually somebody down the line isn't going to be able to benefit from that, which is a common question about this. So what I've kind of discovered is that really isn't the point with this. It's the social crowdfunding whole idea. It's the idea of the crowdfunding that's driving this first, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. But I get a lot of questions from people that say, something doesn't feel right about it in that there's no product. And you pointed out that really wasn't the case, but the idea that you're getting funding from people down the line or, further on in this social endeavor towards the people that first get on, but there isn't anything physical here. There's no vitamins, there's no energy drink, there's nothing that you get tangible. There's no autoresponder service like GVO. How could you?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually like LinkedIn Premium. You get the platform where all of these business people are going to be at. And, Smash Fund is really looking to connect entrepreneurs. I'm excited to be able to connect with everyone on the platform because as I'm looking through, I'm going to be able to connect with people that maybe someone started a nonprofit and I never had, but I could reach out to that person and say, hey, can you let me know what the paperwork that's needed on this and how did you do that? And I really like what you did and I'm going to donate to you. So we become our very own group of angel investors. And I saw somebody was chatting about that on the side. The company takes its $30, $50 goes to the person who connected you, and the rest of it gets divided up in increments of $4 to the people who are around you. So the money, the $149, is gone every month back into the crowd. Crowdfunding is really way ahead of where it was targeted. When I first was thinking about Smash Fund, which was back in September, it was supposed to be a $96 billion industry by 2020. That number has changed to $1 trillion industry by 2020. That's how quickly this industry is growing.
Angela, while I'm looking over the questions, you mentioned, and I heard it online, that the person that really helped crowdfunding to be in the first place has given a really big slap on the back to Rob about Smash Fund.
Oh, yes, Ruth Hedges.
Yeah, could you describe what she said about it?
Yes. Ruth Hedges was one of the pioneers of crowdfunding who helped the Jobs Act, which was just passed on May 16th. She was one of the people that helped write it. She took it to Washington, D.C. She helped got it passed. And when Rob interviewed her, she was so excited about this model because it really is disruptive. It's the Airbnb of the hotel industry, and it's the Uber of the taxi cab industry, because of the 89% that goes unfunded, we are going to lower that number significantly. And she was just so excited that she invited Smash Fund to participate in her upcoming event in Las Vegas. She does a convention, a crowdfunding convention. She gets thousands of people to show up. And for me, I'm so excited about that because that's just going to be so creative. All these entrepreneurs, big thinkers, out of the box. And she really feels that it's something that she has never seen before. And she got it right away when Rob explained it to her because of its impact and its potential to fund people's passions. Okay, someone's asking if there's limited to the types of products or services. You can crowdfund anything as long as it's legal, and it has to be legal in all 50 states, and that's part of the compliance around the world as well. Like we had somebody that wanted to do a cannabis, medical marijuana, and it's not legal in every state, so it was a no for right now.
Instead of shares, I can offer a product or a service for a donated amount. Can you do bartering? Sure. I mean, that's what is done standard. Like, for instance, my cousin offers, okay, to actually sit down and write a song with you in exchange for something like a $250 donation. All right? So that's pretty standard for crowdfunding. And then the example you gave is, for instance, a project for a Colorado mountain retreat, and if somebody donates more than $100 when done with the build, can offer them a night's stay. Absolutely. That's typical crowdfunding, yes. That is definitely, not only can you do that down the line, you could already do that now.
I'm going to touch a little bit on that right now, Todd, because some crowdfunding sites, that's mandatory, and other crowdfunding sites have gone away from that because it really is up to the individual person to fulfill that offer. So a lot of crowdfunding sites are going away from it because they were getting negative reviews when the people who were promising that didn't fulfill. So Smash Fund is leaving it up to the individual crowdfunder as to whether or not, and I think somewhere in the terms and conditions say that the company's not responsible for whatever is promised, because it's not necessary to promise anything.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
now let me just show you quickly how to sign up, because when you go to socialcrowdfunds.com, you hit this page, then it has an invite code on top, which corresponds, okay, to what I just gave you. So when you click the link, it's going to give you an invite code up there. And then you just put your name, your last name, your email, you confirm your email, you create a password, you confirm the password, and then you put a phone number in, your credit card number, expiration date, that sort of thing. And then you have to click accept terms and conditions and then press submit. So it's pretty simple. If at any point it asks you for an invite code, what I wanted to show you is it's up here at the end of that link. So when you put that socialcrowdfunds.com link in, it's going to generate this link in your browser, at the top of your browser window. And all you have to do is just take that number if it ever asks you for that.
And if you scroll down just a little, Todd, it'll say your name, right? It'll say you are connecting to. How you know that you're connecting to the person who invited you.
Yeah, I see that right there. All right, very good.
So to those of you who have signed up, you should have an email in your inbox that now has your sign-up code on it, your ID number.
Folks are reminding me to remind those that were invited here to use the invite code of the person that invited them here. It's really important. Don't worry, we're all on the same team. Don't use my link that's up there, this link, if you were invited by somebody else. All right? Now, I do have more links for you. So, Angela, if you just hang in there for a sec. If you want more info, we have toddgross.rocks. SF Info has a lot of the interviews and things from Rob himself. And they're really cool. I'll play a bit of one of them in just a moment for you, okay? And if you want to contact me by email, this is my email address, squeezevideos@gmail.com. I'll put all this in the chat. And then my Skype is Todd Gross. And then later, what we want you to make sure to do, okay, when you sign up, is even if you sign up with somebody else, you're on the team, we want you to send me an email to this email address. And we want you to contact me on Skype here. And eventually, Luann, who is on the call, wants you to know that you need to contact her. She's called Plan for It on Skype. Plan with number 4 and then it. Because we have what's called the Social Funds Skype group going on, where we're sharing updates, information, resources, all kinds of cool tools. So again, this is really important that once you join, that you're not just left hanging out there. You'll be able to use videos that I make. You'll be able to use pages that we come up with as a team, and all that kind of good stuff so that you can get other people to join with you if you contact me at squeezevideos@gmail.com and or my Skype, which is Todd Gross without a space in it, no space at all. All right, so it's really, really important that once you sign up, you do that. In just a moment after. Yeah, go ahead, Angela.
And I'm going to say why that's really important is because the company just yet they haven't set up the feature yet where you'll be able to contact one another. So if you want to be able to be on Todd's next webinar and see the stuff that he's putting out, you have to email him so he knows you're in. So that's awesome for you to do that, Todd, and I really appreciate that. And Luann's been amazing.
And for those of you that were on last week that are coming just for kind of a refresher of what we've learned, as you hear, there's a whole bunch of new stuff. If you didn't do that, if you didn't write to me yet, or you didn't hit me on Skype, and I know about half of you didn't, please do so. We want to hear from you so we can, kind of keep track and make sure that we can get the latest tools to you, the latest information as it comes out. Okay, so folks, I just highlighted up here, if you were invited to this webinar by someone other than me, please ask them for their sign-up link. Very important. We're all connected. There's no reason why you shouldn't sign up with them since this is spreading virally, and because they're connected to me or Angela, it doesn't matter if you sign up with me, Angela, or them. Definitely sign up with them. If you have nobody else that invited you other than me, as some of you have stated in the questions and the support, then you'd use my other link, which is here, socialcrowdfunds.com. Okay, next. I wish the company would put out a couple of training video tutorials way before the official launch. So we know that a video is coming out around July 1st. Angela, did you receive any further word on that?
No, I didn't, but I do know that Rob will release them if they are ready. I did have a conversation. He said he likes it about 95%, so it's almost there. And I know he's a stickler, and he won't release it until every word meets legal compliance. So the fact that he's that close to having it be final, it may end up being before we go live. I completely understand that question because I would love to get some materials out there that could help everybody.
All right. Will you have regular conference calls to help promote this? Yes. We're on a Skype group generally, though. So the company does conference calls, 30 minutes long, and a lot of them. I personally have a group going with Luann Beckman and Angela. In the group, we answer your questions, and we're working on getting sales materials for you. All right, so keep that in mind. That's why I said the Skype group is so important. This is the person to contact about the Skype group. It's Luann. She is at Plan For It in Skype. I know some of you are on Facebook and don't use Skype. Consider using it, not so much for chatting out loud, not with voice, but typing, so that we could see your questions as they come up. You could also write to me at my email address, squeezevideos@gmail.com. That information is in the chat box. I'm also going to put my Skype in the chat box right now, which is Todd Gross. I can connect you as well. Okay, Jack just got one viral connection. And we're getting towards the end of the questions. Okay, put your last questions in now. I've got invites out there, but no takers yet. What would be the best way? Bonnie Lee asks. Okay, the best way is going to be to send them to what we give you. All right, so we're going to give you a video of me talking about this program. We're going to give you a replay of this webinar, possibly edited. All right, so that is really going to help a lot. Then all you have to do is just show them that. Don't try to sell them, because this isn't something to be sold. Say, are you interested in the idea of crowdfunding? This is for crowdfunders. This isn't an opportunity to make money. This is an opportunity to fund your project, which sounds like a nuance that isn't that important, but it really is fundamentally important, because the whole idea is that other people go to other places to get crowdfunding, and they're the wrong places after this launches. And that's why this is so very important. Okay, Michael says he's going to get his Skype fired up. We haven't seen you on Skype in ages, Michael. Can a business sign up, or does it have to be an individual business, and nonprofits can sign up too? All right, I think that is about the end of our questions. Looking forward to the presentation type videos, as I have a strong handful of interested people, Nick says, and they need funding for various needs. That is the best type of prospect. If you do want to get that $50 per month by inviting people directly, which we certainly encourage, the way to do that is, of course, to find the people who have projects that need funding, that perhaps there is a charity, a church, or there is somebody that is ill that needs help. There is a person who has a musical career like my cousin and needs help getting that off the ground. If that person is talented, it's going to be all the more easy to get funding for that person. That's the kind of thing that this is all about. And Rob's vision is just really wonderful. But he describes it so much better than me. I mean, he just has so much empathy and feeling when he talks about it. So in future updates that we get from him, we'll pass those along to you too. The company is doing, I guess, what you could call a review of everything that's out on the web about the company, because there's misinformation out there. For instance, the compensation plan is somewhat random, as I mentioned, and because there's a random nature to it, it's very hard to describe it. I didn't even put on the chart to try to describe it, because that just makes it look too simple, believe it or not, and I find it even more random than that. But the one thing that you should know is, and that Rob knows, and that Angela has pressed the point to me, is that it's really important to get in on the ground floor on this. And when I've done that before, when I've gotten in on the ground floor of projects before, I've made a lot of money. In fact, on one of them, I've made about $250,000. And some of the people that joined up quickly because they listened to me and said, hey, let's take a chance on this. Because that's what I'm saying here. I don't even know if Smash Funds is going to be a big success. I think it will be. I got a good feeling about it. And if it is, you got to get in early in order to really get that extra source of income, funding for your project that you may have. And that's why I wanted you on so quickly before it even launched officially. And I hope you understand that it could be used for internet marketing projects as well, software as an example, so that it is definitely related to exactly what we normally talk about. But one thing's for sure, you guys have always expressed a keen interest in crowdfunding in general. You've always asked me about it as we've gone along with internet marketing and video marketing, which is my main thing. And that's why I'm taking this little detour here, because when I do see a project that really looks like it could be lucrative and really solve some problems, in this case, solving the problem of crowdfunding and getting above that 89% failure rate and making it, hopefully it'll be a half, 50% or less failure rate, or even better than that. Well, that's what we've got here. And there's even the chance to get funding besides the normal way, besides the donate button, because you guys got in early. All right, so thank you so much for your trust and for signing up tonight. Those that did, I've seen you post that you have in the chat. I didn't have time to go over all your names, but I really do appreciate it. And definitely write to me at squeezevideos@gmail.com and join on that Skype group by contacting us by email or Skype. And the very, very cool thing about that is we have Angela in there, we have Luann in there, who are really the people that brought this to me originally. And we even have Dean in there. Dean is also, a real expert at this, and he's going to be in there too. So there's some knowledgeable people that know even more than me about this. As I said, I found out a lot in the past week, but there's so much more to uncover as we move forward and make sure that this is right for you. Now, if you're invited by me, not by somebody else, go now. This is your last chance tonight. And I will try to get a replay of this webinar out there, not only for you to listen to, but for you to use moving forward. So that's exciting stuff. All right, last chance. Please explain why this is not network marketing. Angela, you mentioned this earlier. Could you explain why it's not network marketing?
It's not network marketing because there's no downline, there's no connect 3 and then you get this. The connecting of the 3 is just to make your page free, if you want to look at it that way. But you don't have to. You could do this without having any personal connection. It'll go faster if you do have personal connections, but it's not network marketing.
All right.
And just so you know, Todd, I'm going to post in Skype, if I get a chat every morning that someone's going to be doing a nightly call, so I'll make sure that that's going into the Skype page.
Okay. Nick says there.
This is a good question. Can people donate without signing up? Absolutely.
Yeah, the funding comes from outside generally. You can be inside and fund other people's projects as a network, but the whole idea is to get funding from outside if possible. Will we meet in Vegas? There is a Vegas connection. You want to talk about the Vegas connection, please, Angela?
There will be a crowdfunding convention in October, the beginning of October, and Smash Fund as a company is invited to participate, and I believe that Rob is going to send an email to everyone on the platform inviting them to come along and be there. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Do we get some sales webinar materials to invite others in? That's what I was saying, is that we're going to provide materials ourselves. We're going to develop materials, and the company is working on really professional grade materials. And they're out there looking for misinformation, because there's a lot of eager people who actually have put out some slightly misinformation inadvertently. Are we going to get a credit card assigned to our account and get the money into the credit card?
The answer to that question is no. The money gets directly deposited to your account. The only reason why you're logging in, you're putting your credit card in, is so that they can charge you monthly.
Okay, now here's a really tough question. Once it's in your account, how do you get it out?
It goes to your bank account. It goes direct deposit to your checking or savings.
That's an easy answer. It's some services, they make you go through a roundabout and then go through.
It's not like PayPal where they hold it and then you have to transfer it. It goes directly to your bank account.
Okay, Karen's looking for social funds on Skype. We have to tell you where it is. You can't. It's going to be hard to find. So just contact us on the Skype group by contacting me at Todd Gross or Luann at Plan For It. Look for that. Search for that rather than searching for the others. And I'll get to that after the call or tomorrow morning at the latest. Okay? So no worries there. Okay, Jack, appreciated the info. Thank you. Looking forward to my videos. You always do a great job. Thank you. That's from Lynn and Doug. Cool, let's do Vegas. And keep asking to stress the funding aspect. Can't stress the funding aspect as much as everybody else is because that's not my style. My style is to talk about it straight. And the way that this really is it's based on the crowdfunding and the actual money that comes in, which is what you want to know about the most. The chance to get money is secondary to the whole concept of this being a better crowdfund network. Okay, so that's why I did.
Thank you so much for saying that, Todd, because it really is about how many people can we help with this.
All right, Tess, if you keep in contact with us, we will have a replay of this webinar or something similar. So yes, squeezevideos@gmail.com. It's in the chat box. You can contact me there. You need to check in anyway there. So that will be really, really good. If you could contact me, we'll get you that replay. Okay, thanks everybody. Angela, thanks for staying on this whole time. This is really exciting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. As you could hear, I have a kind of different view than what you'll hear generally when you search around the web. It's more of a common sense. I wouldn't say skeptical would be the wrong word. The right word would be clearer-minded approach from somebody that's been in a lot of opportunities of different kinds. So I really am looking at this as a potential windfall for those that are interested in crowdfunding. I mean, there's a lot that you could possibly get out of this, which is why we want to at least set ourselves up right now to make sure, and then we'll know as we get closer and closer to the official sign-up time in July and beyond just how successful this is going to be. So thank you so much. And Angela, I'll see you on the group. I will be doing a video, and you'll be getting it, everybody, and we'll have other sales material. And thanks again. Have a good night, everyone.